It's going to help lay the cuticle down on top. So it's going to make it look really nice and shiny and smooth, but it's actually going to go into the cortex of the hair, the innermost part of the hair where the protein and all the melanin and everything lies. And it's going to help repair the keratin that's been broken down. It's going to help repair the proteins and everything so that your hair can actually get back to strong and healthy. The Natural Leak Bioactive Bond Repair System repairs the hair from the inside out by strengthening both layers of the hair instead of just coating the cuticle layers with silicone, which only masks the problem. And that's the problem that we have with a lot of other, brands that that claim to do the same thing. This product is the first and only patented Scandinavian product that actually does what it's said to do. It uses a plant-based keratin with our strengthener to go in and rebuild the hair. Okay, so with number one is our Natural Leak Hair Bond Intrinsic Additive. The Natural Leak Hair Bond Additive is the first step in the bioactive bond repair system containing the bioactive complex, which is that patented Scandinavian complex for bond building. It brings the hair's internal structure back to a more natural state and maintains strength and health while giving manageability back to the hair. With a mild and fresh scent, it is the perfect first step to repair broken bonds. You can do it as a standalone treatment, like I said. So we have a way that we do it with the color. So normally if I'm going to do an all over color or even just a root retouch and people want to add in the bioactive, I recommend it to everybody. But if you're adding it into color, you'll measure it a different way. So I'm going to kind of go through that. So with your standalone treatment, you're going to mix it as a 1-to-2 mixing ratio. Okay. So here in the salon, we have kind of figured out that our minimum amount that we should be using on our clients is 20 grams of the intrinsic additive, and then 40 grams of water, mixed 1-to-2 ratio. And then that's applied onto the hair for a standalone treatment. So you're going to pre-wash the hair with any of the Natural Leak shampoos. I usually use the volume shampoo because I like to have a really clean slate. So you're going to go in with the volume shampoo, make sure that you get, all of the product that's out of their hair, and then go in and apply your standalone number one treatment. If you are adding it into a color, you're going to do 6 grams, well, I guess 3 grams per 20 grams of color. So if you're doing a retouch, you're going to do 3 grams of your intrinsic additive into your color. And then if you are doing like an all over color, you would add 6 grams into your 40 grams of color. So 3 grams per 20 grams. All right, then for your number 2. So your number 2 is your Natural Leak, the Hair Bond Intrinsic Strengthener. So the Natural Leak Hair Bond Strengthener is the second step in the bioactive bond repair system. And it's a highly concentrated reparative and strengthening mask. The bioactive complex reduces breakage, adds shine, smoothness, and intense moisture to treat damaged hair. This step also adds plant-based keratin back to the hair and creates new bonds in the inner cortex of the hair. So this is where it's really going in and doing its job. You have the first part that's kind of going in, opening everything up and allowing the product to penetrate into the hair. And then you have your second step, which is your strengthener that's going in with your keratin and rebuilding the bonds. It's very, very important that you make sure that you do this step. So when you are doing this on your standalone, you will apply it directly on top of your number 1. So you'll apply your number 1 onto pre-washed hair, then you'll apply your number 2 on top and let that sit for 10 to 20 minutes. When you are doing it with color, you are going to rinse your color, shampoo your color with Color Shield hair wash, and then you're going to go in and apply your number 2 on top like a mask. This will replace the Color Shield treatment after your color service. So instead of using the treatment, we're going to go in with our number 2. And again, you'll let that sit on the hair for 10 to 20 minutes. So your certified active ingredients in this number 2 product is going to be olive oil, which moisturizes and repairs with rich fatty acids, antioxidants, and it also helps to protect hair and add shine. You have broccoli seed oil, which adds moisturizing fatty acids as well as vitamins with that are essential to healthy hair growth. You have jojoba seed oil, which is rich in vitamins and minerals such as copper and zinc that strengthen individual hair strands and prevent dryness. Oat kernel extract, which reduces hair breakage and split ends and hydrates each individual hair strand, and jasmine flower extract, which strengthens hair roots, prevents brittleness, and enhances shine. So number 1 and number 2 are your professional products. These ones will only be used in salon as a treatment for you as the professional to apply to your client's hair. And then we have our number 3, which is our the Hair Bond Intrinsic Maintenance. Okay, so the Hair Bond Maintenance, the mask that prolongs the salon result. So this is something that you're going to be retailing and sending home with your client so that they can make sure that the whole treatment that we've just done lasts them the 4 to 6 weeks in between their next color service. So for this one, you want to make sure that after they go home, they shampoo their hair. It doesn't have to be that day, but when they do shampoo their hair, we want to make sure that they put the treatment on roots to ends. They can use a comb or a brush to brush it through and make sure that it is fully saturated. And we're going to let it sit on the hair again for another 10 to 20 minutes before rinsing it out. And you want to make sure with the number 2 and the number 3 that you're rinsing them fully and thoroughly out of the hair. I know that with a lot of masks, it'll say like, leave a little bit in the hair. Don't do that with these ones. I love the way that they make your hair feel and they smell amazing. But if you leave a little bit in there, you're not going to be able to style. It's going to be a little bit heavier on your hair, especially with that number 2, because it does have that plant-based keratin in it. So we want to make sure that we, educate our clients and let them know what needs to be done with their number 3 at home. So with your number 3, we have the broccoli seed oil, jojoba seed oil, oat kernel extract, and jasmine flower extract. So that is going to be very similar to your number 2 as your maintenance product. Big difference is it doesn't have your plant-based keratin in it. So it's not actually going in and strengthening. It's just helping maintain. All right. So I'm going to kind of walk through again the different ways that you can use these products, and then I can talk about the other steps that we've added on. So with your standalone treatment, so the way that we offer it in salon is we'll offer the standalone treatment if somebody wants to add it on to a haircut. They're not getting color, that's when we would use a standalone treatment. Or if they want to come in and just get a treatment done, they can do that. We offer it with a blowout or without a blowout. But they're always going to get the shampoo and the treatment. So you're going to pre-wash the hair. And again, like I said, I like to go in and use the volume wash, hair wash, because it's really nice and clarifying. So we all know that. So, if you go in and make sure that you get all of the product out of their hair, all of the dirt and everything out, you're obviously going to get better results that way. So you want to make sure that we're pre-washing the hair. And then you're going to go in and apply your number 1. Okay. So your number 1 is going to be 20 grams of number 1 and then 40 grams of water. We put ours in little mixing, like toner bottles. But I mean, I guess you can really do it however you want to, but I like to mix it that way and then just apply it all over the hair. And you really want to make sure that you get it roots to ends. Again, if you want to go in and use a brush or a comb, it's going to be your best way to get saturation. And then you're going to go ahead and take your number 2, and we're going to apply it directly on top of your number 1 for your standalone treatment. So with that one, we recommend about 20 grams. I mean, depending on hair length, if somebody's got a little bit shorter hair, obviously it's like a mask. So we're going to let it sit, we're going to use a little bit less. Less is definitely more with this product too, because it does go a long way. You guys know all of our stuff is very concentrated. So a little goes a long way with pretty much everything that we have, but those masks are very, very concentrated. So I would definitely use, if you can get away with using 10 grams, use 10 grams, but we just want to make sure that it's fully saturated from roots to ends. And again, comb or brush to make sure that we do that. And then we can let that sit on the hair for 10 to 20 minutes. Obviously, the longer that it sits on, the more hydrating and the more work it's going to get done, but you don't really want to let it sit on there for longer than 20 minutes because that's kind of overkill. We don't really need to do that. And then your step 3 will be finishing it out. Again, make sure that you rinse thoroughly to make sure that you get all of the product out of there. And then if they're doing a blowout, you can blow it out. And then make sure that you send them home with the number 3 treatment mask. Okay. Everybody who uses the 1 and 2 should go home with the number 3. Now, cool thing about number 3 also is that you don't have to have used 1 and 2 to use number 3. So I know that I've had a couple stylists in the past who have said, oh, well, I don't know if I can sell the number 3 to my client because they haven't used the 1 and 2. And it really is a standalone product on its own as a mask. Because it's still going to go in and it's going to help smooth and make your hair healthy and all of the wonderful things. It just doesn't have the keratin and the treatment to back it up. So yes, we want to make sure that people are doing the 1 and 2 first, but it's not entirely necessary if they just want to get the number 3 and try it out and say, hey, I really like the way that my hair feels. Okay, great. Well, let's go ahead and get the 1 and 2 going. And then the number 3 will do more of its job. I sell the number 3 to everyone. It's literally one of my favorite products. And a lot of times, people won't, if they're coming in for a haircut and they don't have time for a whole treatment, I can send them home with the number 3 and then we schedule them for the treatment maybe next time they come in, just to kind of build on what we've already started them on. All right. So if we are using the product with the color or the whitener, like I said, we're going to use this as an additive and we're going to add it into our color or whitener. Now, I know that a lot of people have heard of Olaplex, which is a similar, less amazing product. But whenever you add that to color or whitener, you usually have to bump the developer and things like that so that it'll actually do its job because the Olaplex dilutes it. Okay. Ours does not do that. So you don't have to adjust the developer at all. It will work exactly the same, just leaving it the way that it is. So if you're wanting to use a 20 volume, use a 20 volume. You're going to still get the same amount of lift and it's not going to dilute it at all, which is just literally my favorite thing. Because I feel like if you adjust the developer, sometimes things can get a little tricky and it's a little more unpredictable. Yes. So with the color, if we add it into the color, we are going to do 3 grams per 20 grams of color. So at our salon, we do our root touches are usually 20 grams and our all over color is usually 40 grams. So the max number that you should be using in 40 grams is 6 grams of your intrinsic additive number 1. Okay. So you're just going to add it in to your color like you would, if you were adding some argan oil or anything into your color. Mix it up. Again, you don't have to adjust your developers at all. Apply it to the hair, let it sit for the full processing time. When you take them back to the shampoo bowl, you're going to rinse the color, shampoo with Color Shield hair wash. And then you're going to go in and you're going to apply your step 2. And your step 2, again, will replace your Color Shield treatment. So that one is going to be like your mask that you'll be putting on the hair to make sure that it gets the keratin and it continues the process of building the bonds in the hair. That one, again, is going to sit on for 10 to 20 minutes. Again, the longer you let it sit, the more it's going to do, but we don't need to exceed the 20 minutes. And then just finish out the hair the way that you normally would after you rinse it. You do, again, want to make sure you rinse it thoroughly and then send home your client with the number 3, because that's going to make it last, which is, you know, what we like to do. Now, that's it for the steps 1, 2, and 3. We naturally did also come out with a 4 and 5, step 4 and 5, and it is a shampoo, a hair wash, and a conditioner. So I really do like the hair wash and conditioner. I will say that for our clients that have a little bit finer of a hair texture, it can get a little heavy. So I wouldn't recommend it as like a everyday shampoo, but it's something that they might be able to add into their repertoire and maybe use like, you know, once a week or something. Maybe not let the conditioner sit on as long because it can be kind of heavy. But it definitely is a great addition to the line. So, you know, we just kind of continue through the process and just give them another thing to keep maintenance at home. Okay. But yeah, so let me just review real quick. So step 1 is our additive. We're going to add that to color or whitener, or we can use it as a standalone treatment. And it is for professional use only. So you should only be using this in salon. We are not retailing this to clients. And it's going to bring the hair's internal structure back to a more natural state, maintain strength and health. Our step number 2 is our hair bond strengthener. This one is going to be an intensive hair mask after the color treatment or with the standalone. It is also professional use only, and it adds plant-based keratin back to the hair and creates new bonds in the inner cortex of the hair. And then your number 3 is your hair bond maintenance. This is your at-home treatment, your retail product. Everyone goes home with it. They love it. It's amazing. It makes the bond stronger over time and reduces breakage in between the treatments. So, pretty simple 3-step process, but it is so important to really set ourselves up for success with every appointment that we have with our guests. And this is the way to do that. We want to build a strong canvas for ourselves. And the best way to do that is by offering the bioactive bond repair. Okay. It doesn't take a lot of extra time to add on to your services. We add an additional 15 minutes onto our service just so that we can make sure that we have enough time for the mask. But if you're adding it into your color services, it just goes right into your color. So it's not taking any additional time to do that. And it's just doing so much work that it's just so worth it. So yeah. So that is all I have as far as information on that goes. If anybody has any questions, now is the time. Or if anybody has any like experiences, they've used it and they want to share.
Yes, I want to ask. Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Thank you. I want to ask if you can leave number 2 for more than 20 minutes.
So you can use the number 2 for longer than 20 minutes. You just don't really need to. It's got plant-based keratin in it. And what we do know about keratin is that it can, if used too much and too often, can cause breakage on the hair because it builds up, right? So we wouldn't really need to leave it longer than 20 minutes. I wouldn't leave it on the hair longer than 20 minutes. The recommended amount of time is 10 to 20. And like I said,
you don't like to leave it.
Yeah, you wouldn't need to. I mean, you can. It's not going to like break your hair. anything like that. But yeah, I mean, I just, I don't think that it's necessary, but it's not going to do anything to damage the hair if you leave it on.
Do you think that you need only to comb the hair and leave it straight, or you it doesn't mind to wrap it and put plastic cap under heat?
Yeah, so you don't need to
for number 2.
Yeah, you don't need to put it under heat. Now, sometimes we'll take like a hot, like a steam towel, and put a steam towel on top of it and let that sit. But you don't really need to put it like under a dryer or anything like that. None of Natural Leak's products need to be put under a dryer.
Okay. And number 3, you can leave it as long as you can, right?
Yeah. So the number 3
Number
is gonna,
3.
Yeah, the number 3 is going to be number 2. So that one's going to sit for another 10 to 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that one, remember, just a take-home product. So that one's just a maintenance. You don't use that one in salon while your client is with you. That one goes home with them, and they use that one at home.
Yeah. Yes, from my experience, for number 3, I leave. Sometimes I put a little only. I have a very curly hair, so curly hair is always dry hair. And needs moisturizing. So yeah, I use it as a leave-in, and it's the best to define my curls.
Okay.
Sometimes and it is really nice, very nice.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, hey, whatever you find to.
But a little, not too much. Like if I want to do it as a mask.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. This is from the experience.
Yeah, that's a great way to use that. I'll write that one down. That's awesome.
Yeah, I use it instead of the conditioner and the leave-in together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'll mix a little bit of my number 3 into my color shield treatment and use that too. But yeah, thank you for that suggestion. That's a good one.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does anybody else have questions?
Hello, good evening. My name is Lala. I'm the hair educator from UAE. Nice to meet you, and thank you for adding me.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I have a question about when we apply the bioactive number 2. Is it necessary to comb it straight and leave it straight, or it's okay if we wrap it and put like a plastic cap on it?
Yeah, you can absolutely do that. It's essentially an intensive mask, but it's just going and adding keratin into the hair. So yeah, you can, if you want to wrap it and put it in a plastic cap, you can absolutely do that and then have them.
Thank you so much. That was my question. Thanks.
Yeah, and like I said, with the combing and brushing.
Actually, I have another question. Yes. Do you think we can combine the intensive hair mask and the bioactive together? That, for example, we do the intensive hair mask first, then we rinse it out, then we do the bioactive. Do you think that, because they work different, the intensive hair mask is nourishing the hair and a lot of nutrients to the hair gives. Then maybe the bond builder is repairing the bonds, and so do you think we can combine them in one session? I didn't try it, but just.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. You could. If you were just using. You're talking about the number 3 or the number 2? Are you talking about the number 2 intensive mask, or are you talking about the number 3?
No, intensive hair mask. To combine it with the standalone bioactive treatment.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Or maybe after the color. Yes.
I wouldn't add it in. I mean, the number 2 is already doing all of the like nourishing and all of that. So it would just be, it's just unnecessary to add that step in. I think that you could tell your clients, because normally I tell my clients not to use the bond repair mask every day. So that you could always have them get the intensive mask and have them use that and alternate with the number 3, but I wouldn't use them together.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That's a good question. But yeah, with the combing and the brushing the product through, you don't have to leave it like in the bowl like that. If you need to put them in a cap, I mean, I know at our salon, we get very busy on the weekends. So we run out of bowls and we can't really leave people to sit there for 10 to 20 minutes. So we put people in caps with the mask on all the time and just, have them sit on the couch. And then we'll just bring them back in when we need to rinse it out. So absolutely you can do that. But again, we don't really need to do heat unless it's like a steam towel. These are good questions. Any other questions? Concerns, experiences? No one? I'm going to see if there's anything else that I left out. Yeah, the grammage for the color usage too, and the standalone treatment, it's always going to depend on the length of the hair as well. So, if you're using more color, obviously you're going to add some more, product in. And Myrna, you're right. Yes, it's a great way to upgrade a service. Adding on the bioactive. Everybody needs it. I mean, like I said, there are, 4 ways that your hair gets damaged and we do them all. So, and everybody does them all. So, even if people think that, their hair is really healthy, and I mean, it could be, but even just being outside in the sun, I mean, damages your hair. It's why we have the heat and sun, right? So, being able to add this into any treatment or any service is a great way to upgrade, but it's a great way, again, to set yourself as the stylist and the professional up for success to continue working with this client so that they're getting the most benefit of your services because their hair is as healthy as it can be, especially when we're doing color services. Let's see. Veronica asked, what's the time frame when a guest should come back for a full in-salon treatment? That's a great question. So normally I would recommend it for their color services. So if they do, 6 weeks in between their root touch-ups, then I would do it every 6 weeks. And you can kind of assess when they come in if you feel like, their hair needs it. But I mean, the reality of it is it does because while they were not in your chair, they were hopefully using our products at home, but they were using hot tools and blow drying, and they were out in the sun. They were using hard water and, all of the things. So we really want to make sure that we are maintaining their hair with every time that they come in to get a color service done, that they're at least for their color services getting the bioactive added in. Trying to see if in my notes I put anything else that was interesting. Has anybody used the step 4 and 5? No.
I have a question, please. Yeah. I usually tell the client that it's better to have the bioactive weekly. They can come back every week and have it
Okay.
for 6 sessions. Is that okay, or it is too much, or it's okay, it's regular?
I mean, I probably wouldn't recommend it every week because it'll last on the hair for 4 to 6 weeks in between your services. So you really don't, this is the thing again. So we want to be conscious of the fact that we are using keratin. Now, whether or not it's, plant-based keratin or not, it's still going to and could build up in the hair and cause breakage. So we don't want to do too much and then really put ourselves kind of backwards in a spot, which causing breakage to happen due to the amount of keratin that we're putting in the hair. It really doesn't need to be every week. I would recommend like at the minimum every 4 weeks because if they're taking that number 3 home for maintenance, then they're maintaining that during that time. So you wouldn't need to do it every week. Every 4 weeks should really be the minimum.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, keratin products can be tricky because, we hear the words like damage repair and things like that, and people get like really excited about it. And so they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like my hair is so damaged. I want to use it so much. And I want to just, slather it on and use it every day. And, I love that. I love the excitement of it. But the reality is we just have to be mindful because sometimes keratin can, it can get heavy and it can just build and build and build. And then what do we have, right? Breakage and unhealthy situations. So I remember, oh gosh, there was a product that I used to use that was a damage remedy or some sort of something like that. And I got so excited about it and I would use it. And then, my hair was breaking off. I was like, why is my hair breaking off? And my stylist was like, oh, because you're using it too much. You're using it like every day. And you don't know until you know, but, but we have to educate our clients and let them know that we just need to do it every 4 weeks. Excuse me. I do think it's really neat that, as far as a bond repair product goes, that it actually is going into like the cortex of the hair. And honestly, there's just so many things that I love about this product. But I love that it can be done pretty often, that it does have this maintenance product that you can use at home. I mean, I'm sure you guys can tell this is not my natural color. And I have been lightening my hair for a long time. And obviously the Naturally, color shield and all of the nourishing cream and things like that help, make it healthy. But this bond repair treatment, has just been the best. Is a godsend. It's amazing because my hair is the healthiest it's ever been. And I can definitely 100% attribute that to this product, just as a personal tip.
Yeah. I have another question. What is the ingredient that really make our hair very smooth and silky?
So in the number 2, so it's the plant-based keratin that's in there. And then you've got it's the bioactive complex that's going to make it shiny and smooth. So the bioactive complex is actually in the 1 and 2, but that's what's going in and making it shiny and smooth. But again, you've got olive oil in there for moisture. You've got the broccoli seed oil for moisture and fatty acids. So it's got a lot of fatty acids in it that are going to help it make it shiny. And then you've got your oat kernel and your jasmine flower extract. And those are the things that are going to make it strong.
Thank you so much for the answer.
Did you guys have any other questions?
I have sometimes people, they ask me, like, if I put only number 1 and I forgot to put number 2, what can happen? Like with the color, with the toner, with the bleach. Sometimes
Sure.
they just forgot, they got so busy and then they forgot to put number 2.
Sure.
So number 1 alone, it will harm the hair if we don't put number 2?
It's not going to harm the hair. It just isn't going to do, it's not going to get its full potential. You're not going to get the full use of the product, because the number 1 is really just going in and kind of, like I said, preparing it for number 2. Your number 1 is kind of setting everything back in its natural state. And then number 2 is going in and actually rebuilding the bonds. So if you're skipping that number 2 step, then you're not really getting the full potential of the product. It's not going to hurt anything, but it's just not going to give you the results that you're looking for.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Now, one thing that actually a couple of our stylists have been doing, so we actually offer the number 3 as a mask in salon as well. You know, if our clients want to add that on to like a haircut or a blowout or something like that, we offer that number 3 mask in salon. The only problem with doing that is usually we just have to charge so much for it to do it that way, that it makes more sense for the clients to purchase the product and then we can just use it on them in salon. So a lot of times we'll do that, and you know, that way then we make sure that they're taking it home with them, but we can use it on them while they're here as long as they purchase it. So just kind of another way to, you know, ensure that they're getting that third maintenance product, but it is something that we can use on them while they're here in salon. Just, you wouldn't need to use it on a day that you were doing the 1 and 2. It would be on, like, you know, if they came in for a haircut and they wanted to add that on as a mask. Did anybody have any other questions? You know, it's kind of a lot of information, but I hope that everybody here is using this product, because if you're not, you should be. It's just, it really is, it's amazing. And it not only is going to help boost your sales, but it's going to help your clientele. I mean, you will see the difference in their hair. And I'm sure that many of you have, you know, had new clients come in that were using products from other brands and started using our stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, my hair is so healthy now. And we just have to continue to build on that excitement that they have with the product. Show them how amazing it is and all of the amazing things that it can do. You know, the bond repair is not something that every, you know, brand has. And there are a couple brands out there that do it, but they don't do it like this. Nobody does it like Naturally does it with any of our products. So, and I'm sure that you guys can attest to that and know that because you use it, and you've probably seen the transformations with your clients. So, you know, educate them, let them know this is not like the other things that you've used before. And I know I've had people in my chair that I've, you know, had that conversation with. They're like, well, you know, I tried Olaplex or tried Wellaplex or whatever, all of the other things. And like, it didn't really do anything for my hair. Let them know the difference and show them the difference, because there is a huge difference in the way that it makes their hair feel and what it's actually doing for the health of their hair. You know, one thing that I love about Naturally is that they stand behind their product and their word. And, you know, they say it makes your hair 3 times stronger. And I believe that. My hair was completely breaking off before I started using Naturally. And now that I do, and I use the bioactive, it's just a completely different animal. It's wonderful. I love it. Well, does anybody have any more questions, concerns? Or just experiences? Veronica said that her curls have never been better. Absolutely. I mean, any kind of textured hair, you want, like Manal said, if you use texture or have textured hair, it's always craving moisture. It's always thirsty. So being able to share these products with people with textured hair, especially that number 4 and 5 too, the shampoo and conditioner, those are just like wonderful for that too. So really just making sure that we're, just educating people and showing them how amazing it is. Yeah, Veronica said that she's got highlighted hair and curls and that the number 3 makes her hair feel like butter, and it does. I again can attest to that. I use it once a week for like a full treatment, but I'll mix a little bit of the number 3 into my Color Shield treatment sometimes. And I just love it. It makes my hair feel so good. I know that it's not building up on my hair. I feel like it always styles really nice the next day. It's just, you can't lose. You can't lose with it for sure. All right, guys. Well, it looks like, let me see. So next week, we will do another one of these classes on the same Zoom. So make sure you guys save that. And it looks like next week, it will be the scalp treatment and anti-hair loss tips. And I believe that will be with Veronica. But I'm really excited about doing these classes with you guys. I think that it works out nice to be doing the Zoom classes where you guys can just log in and get the information, ask the questions live. It will be also broadcast on YouTube and Instagram live. So if you guys ever, get on there instead, whatever y'all need to do, these are also recorded. So if anybody had, questions or anything or needed the information, definitely reach out to one of us and we can get the information to you. But we're excited to start this series because I think that it's, a way that we can make sure that everybody's getting the education about the product without having to, set up a 3-hour class where everybody comes in and it's just a little bit more convenient. So we're excited about it. I hope you guys are excited about this as well. We have it scheduled out through the rest of the year with me and the rest of our educators on our trainer team. We're going to make sure that you guys have what you need as far as education and information on all of the products and services that we're using. But if you guys have anything that you guys want to learn or have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on our Instagram. You can send us messages on there. My Instagram is Charmed by Charland. And you can definitely, like I said, look me up, add me, follow me. I will make sure that I get you all of the information that you need. What I was trying to do. Hopefully next time I will have my laptop. I'm doing this on my phone and I keep trying to pull up the chat. Let's see. Yes. So Lala asked, is the number 3 like the number 2, but it's just more concentrated? So yes and no. The number 2 has the plant-based keratin in it. The number 3 does not. So the number 2 is imperative to the treatment because you really want to make sure that it's going in and, putting that keratin in the cortex. The number 3 is your maintenance. So that's just going to make sure that it maintains what we've done in salon, as far as the smoothness goes and keeping the cuticle closed so that that keratin doesn't come out of the cortex. I keep doing that. All right, my friends. Well, that is all I have for you guys. Again, if y'all have any questions, concerns, or anything like that, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. And it was a pleasure to educate you guys this morning and to speak with you. And y'all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome.